to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die.
All right, welcome to Tiny's under 10-minute tasting. So tonight we are tasting Barrel Craft Barrel Bourbon from Barrel Craft. Let's see, Spirits. Barrel Craft Spirits. It's Barrel Craft Bourbon. This particular one I picked up last year. It is cask strength, batch 29. A blend of straight. This is the bottled 13488. It's 6 years old, and it is 115.8 proof. One of the cool things about Barrel Craft Spirits. Barrel Craft Spirits, based in Louisville, Kentucky, is an independent blender of bottled. Let's try that again. Independent blender and bottler of unique aged cask strength sourced whiskey and rum. Recognized for its blending expertise, we design, produce, and launch spirits with a focus on what people want now and not what has been successful in the past. This affords us access to some of the most interesting and delicious spirits in the world. Our goal is to select and blend products that explore different distinct methods, barrels, and aging environments and bottle them at cask strength. Barrel Craft Spirits was awarded Best Bourbon twice at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition in 2017 and again in 2020. Other SFWSC awards include Best Small Batch Bourbon and Best Overall Rum, as well as 21 double gold medals and 15 gold medals. We've received high honors at the New York International Spirit Competition, LA Spirit Competition, and Ultimate Spirits Challenge, including Chairman's Trophy for the Barrel Dovetail. Barrel Craft Spirits is highly rated by Whiskey Advocate and was named Best American Whiskey in 2018 in Forbes, our award-winning line of products currently sold in 48 states throughout the U.S. All right. So that gives you a little background on them. Joe Beatrice is the founder. This Barrel Craft, we'll get at it, but there's a little bit on the back of this one too. They like to do, they say that they do it. They hand select and marry these bourbon barrels from our inventory to bring out their best characteristics. Bottled at cask strength so you can experience the true flavor of our blend of straight bourbon whiskey. So they're on the lines of as far as blenders. Now this one is an Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee bourbon. It's blended from what you can imagine. Tennessee, we know. We also know Indiana, and then we also know we're not sure in Kentucky where it's coming from. But what I wanted to cover is that this is a reasonably priced bourbon at 80. I believe this one was $79.99. And at $80 for blending, where the when they're not distillers, when people purchase aged whiskey, what happens is they have to pay for it, and especially if it's good. And this one's 6 years, so this is not real long aged, but it is mature bourbon that they're mixing. Now there could be 6 years is the youngest bourbon that's in this, and it's bottled at barrel strength. Like I said, 115.38 proof. It's just fantastic. So let's get down to it. One of the things that the reason why I say it's reasonably priced is because other people, such as Old Carter, Kentucky Owl, or even Preservation, which has Rare Perfection and Old Saint Nick line of blends, where they're doing exactly the same thing, purchasing expensive alcohol. Now this is a 6-year, and the other ones are a little bit older, but at the same time they're a lot more expensive. You could pay $300 for Kentucky Owl and Old Carter, and $180. So at $90, they're giving some reasonably really good bourbon. So the rating system for Tiny's under 10-minute tasting is...
Spirits of French Lick is proud to introduce the Maddie Gladden Bottled and Bond Bourbon. This 4-year aged bourbon is double pot distilled and non-chill filtered, and has a full-bodied mouthfeel with eucalyptus, molasses, clove, ginger, and slight citrus, as well as grains of paradise. The finish is long and reappearing on the back of the tongue with notes of pepper, tobacco leaf, and mint green. All of our spirits are available for tasting and purchase inside the French Lick Winery and Distillery. Spirits of French Lick. Respect the grain, please enjoy responsibly, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Dant Crossing, Gethsemane, Kentucky. Timeless hospitality that stirs the spirit. Dant Crossing is a one-of-a-kind destination for unforgettable weddings, memorable corporate events, day trips, and weekend getaways. The pastoral campus is anchored by Log Still Distillery and includes an amphitheater that seats 2,000, a 12-acre lake for fishing, and unique lodging options, creating an immersive experience that's rooted in the community and culture of our little slice of Kentucky. More attractions will open soon at Dant Crossing, including our 21,000 square foot distillery, which we will have the ability to produce 15,000 barrels of spirit each year, a network of wooded walking trails, fully functional private train depot, farm-to-table restaurant, and the Legacy, a premier wedding and events venue. Whether you're looking to host an event, book a stay, or reserve a tasting, we're ready to welcome you. Learn more at dantcrossing.com.
Is as follows: 25 for nose, 25 for taste, 25 for body, and also 25 for finish, for a total score of 100. An average bourbon would score between 50 and 60. Now, I hope I didn't pour. I probably poured too much. Let me get this. I took it down. One of the nice things about these Glencairns, remember, I am Tiny of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. I am also a certified bourbon steward through Moonshine University, and a member of the Stave and Thief Society. I'm an executive bourbon steward, so I've had classes in sensory training, including taste and smell. So also, I'm tasting tonight in the best tasting whiskey glass. This is a Glencairn. It has really taken hold in the United States as far as for tasting bourbon. One of the nice things about it is it has the base. It has the teardrop shape. You can hold the base so you don't heat up the whiskey. It allows you also to look at it, see color. This is a rich caramel color, it's like a dark caramel. And then it's got a little bit of red, a little bit more red. So as it goes in my glass, one of the nice things for this teardrop shaped glass is that all the aromas and all the smell that is condensed at the top. So you're able to nose this a lot easier than you would in such other tasting glass and rocks glasses. Now, when you're nosing, there's 3 ways. I start off with my mouth closed at the bottom of the base. This is where you're going to get the base of the nose. But then I'll do it with my mouth. I'll go to the top, and I also will get other spirits, other flavors as I rise to the top of the glass from the base to the. And then, last but not least, as you breathe in, open your mouth. it will go into your throat and you'll be able to taste it along with smell it, which allows it to open up even more. This bourbon, as far as I know, it's just a classic Kentucky bourbon as far as taste. Even though there's Tennessee and Indiana, Kentucky is in here. And this is a big bourbon. Caramels, vanillas, oak, a little bit of a char. I'm trying to see what that last flavor. There's one other. I can't quite put that last, maybe after I sip a little bit. Now the other aspect to see this, what they call them legs. So what you do is you take your Glencairn and you roll it. You can roll it. And if you don't have too much, you pick it up, you look at it, and you see how it clings to the glass. Now, this particular glass is sticky. There we go. These are big, long, thick legs. So this tells you the viscosity of the fatty acid. The fats that are in here are rich. So the mouth feels because this is a barrel strength or cask strength. The mouth feel is going to be, I imagine, pretty good. So let's give it a sip. For cask strength, there's the warmth. It's a very interesting bourbon. It's not really complex, but it's delicious. There's no doubt about it. It's a higher, the proof really. For 115.38 proof, wow. I would say I'm even getting a little lemon on that. So let's nose this again. All right, so it's time to score. Once again, our rating. Let me quick get out my notebook. Got it set for barrel craft right here. I did have a pen, but we'll see. I always end up not having pens. So let's go with, I can sense. There we go. I would say, based off of what's been happening, that the nose is classic, but not too complicated. I just get that rich. It's just rich caramel with the barrel char, like a toasted. I don't get it. It's just oak and caramel and like a char, like almost a Scotch aspect to it. It's burnt brown sugar. And caramel. That's what I'm getting there. So on the nose, because it's not too complicated, I'm going to give the nose a 20. Now, as far as the palate goes, I mean, there's not a lot of spices. That's what it is, honey. There's a ton of honey, a little bit of leather. It's like a honey leather finish. And then the front is caramel and sugar and oak. All right. This is a very delicious palate. Definitely honey and leather. So I would rate this palette a 23. As far as body, beautiful in the glass. So if you're giving the glass and then the body as far as mouthfeel is really good, but it lacks that. I mean, for a barrel cast strength or a barrel proof, you would expect a bigger, bolder mouth, but this is roof of your mouth, tongue, under your tongue, back of your throat, but it doesn't go into the cheeks, even if you do a Kentucky chew. So this gets a 21 on the palate. And then let's see how long the finish is. A mid-length finish. It's got the char's not there. The honey's there though. It's like a honey, oaky, really a nice finish. So I'm going to give it at least a 22 on the finish. So the total score for this barrel bourbon I give an 86. So for it's an $80 bottle, and I was thinking about this and what they do and what they got to pay. What they do it for a reasonable price for what other blenders are doing. So the line so far, as far as the bourbons go, last weekend I tasted a nice bourbon from there and I enjoyed it. It was finished in, I forget what kind of cask, but it still was quite delicious. And it's once again, it's $80, but at the same time, everybody has to understand that when you're purchasing already aged spirits, and especially in this day and age where you're going around and buying barrels from different companies, it's getting more and more expensive because the demand's there and there's less and less of it because they're trying to meet this bourbon boom demand. So I would say 86 is a pretty damn score for this. Damn good score for it. It's high up there as a good bourbon. It's not in the 93, 95 great bourbon taste, but I really enjoy this barrel craft bourbon. Once again, this is Tiny's under 10-minute tasting. I hope you enjoyed this time. Remember, www.scotchybourbonboys.com. Check us out. We also podcast regularly. You check out the podcast on all podcast formats. Also, check us out on YouTube. Remember that when you're at the website, check out our Whiskey Live every second and fourth Friday of the month on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do a tasting with the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. And then also we have we got the Whiskey Live, we got the 10-minute tasting, the podcast, but check us out on YouTube. And then we also have our Facebook group, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Join it. We are local, Canton, Ohio. We have meetings, get together. We've been getting together on the Barrel Room. Our next meeting is April 22nd. So everybody, thanks again. This has been the Tiny's under 10-minute tasting, and little Steve-O will take us out.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
The Watershed Story. A watershed moment might be pivotal, but it might also be quiet and fleeting. It could be a monumentous occasion, a cause for celebration, an enormous triumph, or a small daily victory. A watershed moment could be a rekindling or an observation or a gathering. Any opportunity to relish with friends and family. It's whatever you choose to cheers to, who you're gathered around, and whatever's worth celebrating. We founded Watershed Distillery on the principles of community in 2010. We wanted to live in, work in, and contribute to the community in which we grew up. We aimed to create spirits and stood apart in quality and character. Along the way, we set out to form a community of our own, one that could gather together to savor, celebrate, and enjoy good spirits and company. We've grown from a tiny little still and 2 guys in jumpsuits to a dedicated team of over 40 people and 2 much larger stills. If you're ever in the area, stop by so we can introduce you to our team and pour you some of our award-winning bourbon. Creating it was our watershed moment, but we want to hear about yours.